All right, Super Dave here with another review, and today we're going to be looking at something a little different than Masters of the Universe or Marvel Legends or a Classics figure from our Big Bad Toy Store box that came today. We're looking at two premium Fortnite figures, Omega and Carbide. So let's break them open and look and check and see what we got. So the first figure that we're looking at is Carbide, Fortnite Carbide, and there he is, the premium figure in his box. He has 22 points of articulation. There's another picture of him. There he is with his counterpart and some other cell points there. There he is with Omega, which that to me is saving the best for last. I like Omega the best personally. Tell me below which is your favorite, but we'll be looking at both today. These are epic, it says, and these are really neat. And this is McFarlane Toy's design. So let's break him open and check out what he's like. All right, so here's our first figure. That is Carbide, and he's looking really blue and luminescent. You can see in this lighting, it almost looks like that the blue around the outline of his vest is kind of glowing, which is really cool, kind of like in some of the pictures that you see, and of course, I guess on the game too. But really, really nice looking, sharp looking figure. Right out of the package, I'm already very impressed. This buck or this mold is very futuristic looking, very sharp, very cool looking to me. I think it's really neat. There he is from the back. The head sculpt is really nice. The paint apps are pretty good for the most part. I can see some places along the legs here where there's some spillover in the paint area, if you can tell that. But there is some really good paint work here. Everything looks really nice just overall in this figure. So let's look at his accessories. First thing that we will notice is that he comes with this cool looking jetpack looking thing, and this snaps on to his back here, and that adds quite a bit of depth to this character. That's a neat look for him. So there he has that. Very neat jetpack looking backpack that he has. Now, those of you that know me as a collector, I am mostly interested in Masters of the Universe, doing the Motu Classics movies, diorama movies. So these characters will probably make a showing, whether they'll end up being from the same planet as Roboto or use some other function for the character, I'm not sure. But then he comes with this weapon. Those of you who are familiar more with Fortnite than I am will know what these are, but very cool looking weapon that he comes with a hinge looking attachment on the bottom that does not bend, but it looks like it would if it was in real life. Really neat weapon, really cool looking type tool or instrument. And then he has one weapon that he comes with, and that is this machine gun for I mean, what's a first person shooter character without his weapon, right? But there's a nice, really nice detailed machine gun that he comes with. There's that weapon that he comes with there. And then, of course, these Fortnite figures come with this really nice base, because he does have peg holes in the bottom of his feet, and they can rest nicely right on there, and on the front of it, it says Fortnite. And so that way you can display them. Let's go over the review booth and check out Carbide. All right, here's our figure. Let's zoom out here and see him in full motion and check out our Fortnite Carbide. All right, Carbide measures in at about a 7 inches or 7¼ inches. So let's look at his articulation. It's kind of a tricky thing here, so we're going to look at it slowly, and I'm going to take his backpack off for the sake of that. There's a lot of detail on that backpack, as you can see. A lot of nice detail there. Even the bolts, looks like screws in the back. It's really neat the way they've got the little rivets there. But let's set that to the side. Even got some green detail, like where the jets are supposed to propel out of there. Really neat. There's our custom, so to speak, Roboto back there. Hey, Roboto. And so let's check him out here. Got him posed kind of like the picture. These McFarlane toys have different kind of articulation in some areas. So we're gonna take a look at this and see what we can find at each turn. First of all, has a really good range of motion to be able to look down, as you can see that. I really like that. I just love those eyes. Can get about that much. That's about as far as I can go, but looking up, but that's a good amount of looking up there, of being able to cast a gaze upward there. Looking good. I just love the way these figures look. I'm just very pleased with these figures. Big Bad Toy Store, $25, $24.99 a piece. Very well made. I'm just very excited and tickled about this particular figure. But another thing I want you to notice here is the neck. There is and if you can see that, I'm not moving the head, I am moving the neck. There is a ball joint of some sort behind that neck, or underneath, I should say, the neck joint. I'm not moving the head, but there is some kind of ball joint attached to the neck that you can get a little play. Now you can get the head on that ball joint will pivot side to side, up and down, of course left and right. But you see, the head's not even moving. It's that neck ball that's moving. But if I put my thumb on that, the head moves independently of that as well. So that is just really neat. That's gonna give you a lot of options to kind of see if you can see that. It's hard to see that black, but I can see it in the detail given to the neck. It actually gives the ability to pose that neck in quite a neat array of poses. Really nice. All right, so that's the neck area and the head. Let's go ahead and move down to this part right here. There is not much of an ab crunch. It's kind of hard to tell here, but on the camera, but you can see there's quite a bit of space there. Not when you look at on it straight on, but there is just there's just very little motion that goes there. Very little side to side. So there's definitely like a ball joint up in there of some sort, but versus the hinged ab crunch like on the classic He-Man figures. But that ball joint doesn't go very far. But then there is a really nice, and you can see that on the waist, ball joint for the waist. So he can turn and bend slightly forward a little bit and slightly back with that ball joint there, which is common with some of the McFarlane articulation toys. Okay, let's go to his arms now. This is another unique area. Not only do you have your common joint 360 there, shoulders, but there's also a butterfly joint in there. If you can see that, there is a butterfly joint. And then, of course, you have the range of motion up. And this does hinder right here, this part of the shoulder armor does hinder that going up no further than about right there. So you see how that is not able to go up all the way. It's kind of a ratcheted type joint there. Now there is bicep swivel, but again, and even though this is not attached, it does hinder that a little bit, but you can still get bicep swivel there from that arm. Then this is really nice. Check this out. Double jointed elbows, which is common with McFarlane toys again, but you can get a full range of motion there with that. Check that out. That's really nice. And the hinge work is done very neat on this particular figure. All the way around, just showing you again the ab crunch type ball joint there, and then the range of motion that you can get. You can tilt back quite a bit. As you can see right here, to get those, if you was to look up, you can get that upward look there. All right, going back to the arms. He also has a ball joint hinge at the wrist, so you can turn those and get a ball joint hinge at the wrist. Very nice. I mean, just look at the paintwork. Look at the detail on the chest, that shine, the metal work almost is what it looks like. Almost like chainmail, but not chainmail. More like that, what is it called? The bulletproof stuff. Can't remember now right offhand, but you know what I'm talking about. It came to mind. It kind of has that textured look on this metal work on this figure. Really nice, really nice. Same ball joint over here, same bicep swivel, same butterfly hinge, which also can go up and down on this figure. You see how that's a good range of motion there. It looks like this mic could come off. This armor on his arm looks like it might could pop off. I haven't tried that because I don't want to mess up the figure. I just got him. But it's certainly a nice looking figure on all points there when it comes to the arm motion. You can even kind of shift those up a little bit, give him a little bit more depth, or bring him down, almost look like he's bad posture in there. So there's a shifting that can go on there. Just mentioning that. All right, now going to the pelvis area. He's got those nice ball hinged type pelvis work. It's almost like I can't quite go much further than that because of the leg work over here on the side and the waistline here, but so you can't get a split out of it, but you see about that far. Then you can just turn it to get that leg to come out that way. There's no thigh cut here, which would be nice to be able to turn him, get him right for seated type things. But anyway, you can see that wheel go out, so you could technically seat the figure. You're just not going to be able to get his knees going in the right direction on that. That's a shame. You should be able to have a thigh cut right there, but because of the way this is right here at the waist, you're not going to be able to turn that once you've seated the figure. So just take notice of that. Otherwise, you can get a good swivel. Get the light right here. You can get an excellent swivel here. It's just not going to be able to swivel once you get it in that position. Then, of course, you have your double jointed knee. Very nice joint there. And then there's no calf cut or boot cut at all. Just you can swivel at the foot, and then you have a ball joint, so you can go that way and go all the way up that way. There's even a toe hinge on the foot there, which is nice on the boot. And then you can also get a nice, if I can get him straight here, you do have pivot at the ankle. And of course, same thing for this side over here, double jointed knee. Double jointed knee, you can see how far up he can get there. And then no boot cut, no thigh cut, no calf cut there. Just checking to see because it looks like, but no, there's no turn there. Toe hinge, ankle, ball pivot there. Very nice range of motion. And again, that will determine on how much, based on how you have that ball turned, but you could go all the way there. So you can get some good, really good poses and forms out of him, and articulation in every direction. Really nice. We'll get him in some poses when we finish the review. But there he is. His ankle joints are a little loose, so it's been a little hard getting him to stand sometime. If you notice, it's almost like those ball joints are so loose that the tightness isn't quite enough to hold up his weight, but it does work. Might have to bend some of these things forward just a little bit to kind of give him a definite balance. All right, let's go ahead and put his backpack back on here. And just a closer look at these accessories again. There's his tool of some sort, some kind of weapon tool that he has. And then there's his odd looking machine gun. Almost looks out of character for him. But some of you that know a little bit more about Fortnite will be able to enlighten me maybe in the descriptions. But there is that figure. You see the metal work, the rivets right here. Very well done. Very nice looking figure. You can see where I was talking about the paint that spilled over a little bit in here. And that's the only flaw I've been able to see. Other than that, the paint work on this figure is very well done. On the arms. Backpack again. Just really nice all the way around. Love the eyes too. Check out those eyes. And the artwork on his, like there's a special place there on his chest. Just really neat. Again, there's peg holes in the bottom, and you can certainly use his pegged base to stand him. There, the peg holes are in the heel of his boot. There is a trigger finger in that hand, so that'll work good for all the weapons that you might have. And then he will hold this tool very well also. That would look nice right there. There we go. Whoop. You can see him, even with the base, he's still not as tall as this Ultron figure, which I have attached the Roboto head to. But in relation to a regular size Masters of the Universe, what would it be like for Plundor to be in Fortnite? So he's about the same exact size. I'm compensating for the base there as your Masters of the Universe action figures. So what would it be like for Carbide to go against Plundor? He's got a pretty cool looking weapon. I think he might be able to take out some Fortnite characters. All right. Let's go ahead and go and check out some poses in this figure and see what kind of poses he can do. And then we'll be taking a look at, in the next video, Omega. Thank you for joining us. Let's check out some poses with this and some photos of this excellent McFarlane Toy Carbide Fortnite figure. And please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and hit that bell if you want to get future notifications when I upload a new review. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you for watching this review. Come and check out the Masters of the Universe diorama movies.